Understanding how the website builder works is really important. That's why I like doing this from scratch so you can see all the elements being put into play. Let's talk about the actual website. Now, we are in our home page, and this is the one that we're about to design. You'll see the back button that will take you out. And then over here, you can see various versions of your site once you start creating them. You can preview your site, and you're going to get used to clicking this save button every time you see a little dot here to remind you to save your hard work. Now, right here, this are all of our elements. You'll see the elements here. You'll see layers where if you have a page and a pop-up, you'll also see pages here. You'll see we're at our home, contact, and about us page. Any tracking codes that you want to add to your website. These are great for things like Google, Facebook ads, all kinds of tracking things that you can do. You'll see your head tracker and your footer tracker. This is where we go and add any custom CSS. For those of you who like to do codes and custom CSS, that's a great spot for you. The typography is the text that you're wanting to use for the website. We can keep this at this heading font, or we can change a different heading font. You can also select any Google fonts that you may like. The Google fonts are loaded right here. If you have a content font, this is what's shown in the paragraphs and the content. This is where you would add your content font as well. You can also change the text color, and the link color would be any hyperlinks that you put into your website. I'm going to change this color for our website, and we'll make it an orange. And all you do is select the color, and there you have it. You'll see I made an update to the site, so when you look to the top, I definitely want to save that. It's going to say all kinds of crazy things, and we're not updating our SEO yet, but you'll see these pop-ups every time you save, and then I select save one more time just to make sure that everything's saved. And you'll see it's not saving because I don't have any elements in it yet, but I have created my typography and I have my colors. If you want to select a background image for a specific page or a background color, so if you wanted a darker built website, you could do a darker color, or you could stay with white space. Right here, this is your pop-up settings. When we go to create a pop-up, this will show you pop-ups and the settings for the pop-up. This is going to pull out your SEO metadata. This is where you would SEO code your page. Over here would be any preview of any custom codes. And then right here, it allows you to see in a 2-column mode or an auto mode. So auto mode basically will show you what your website is looking at. If your website is bleeding to the far left and the far right, and you want to see how that looks when the website is all colored, or you can just keep it in the 2-column mode where you can see the spacing. So you can do 2-column mode, or you can do auto mode to see your page. You can also select this by show settings by clicking show settings right here. Now we're not going to see any settings because we're not doing anything. I'm going to go ahead and close this out. But that's how you'll manage all the elements inside. You'll also see right here a desktop mode and a mobile mode. So you can start designing in mobile and then see what it looks like in desktop. You can design in desktop and you can see in mobile. You'll also see where we can hide certain elements of the website, maybe designing the website more elaborate for a desktop view, and then editing and designing things more for a mobile view. Now, the first thing we want to do is add elements. You'll have a blank page here, and it's important to understand the elements. We've got sections, rows, elements, and then we'll talk about global sections and section templates here in just a little bit. In the store, we'll talk about that in the website e-commerce. We're going to focus now on sections, rows, and elements. The first thing you need to do inside of your website is add a section. If you want it to be full width, left to right, the whole website, this is where you would add the full width. If you want to have some white space, then you would add wide. Medium would show a lot more white space, and small would be a small amount of white space. The small would be more for a mobile app. See how the section is small and you see a lot of white space here, and that's how that looks. Let's go ahead and start by adding a full length section. So the first thing you want to do is add your section. You're going to see the section with this green color box around the section. Then the next thing you want to do is add a row. Now, is your row going to be a 1-column, 2 column, 3 column, 4 column, 5 column, or 6 column. And what happens is when you add these rows, they will actually show as a single row on mobile. So if you add a 4 column row, let's add this 4 column row. You'll see on desktop, we'll be able to see these 4 columns. But watch what happens when I select mobile. This is column 1, 2, 3, 4. That's why designing your website, you want to make sure that you're looking at both the desktop and the mobile during your design. We'll go ahead and delete this. Let me re-add the column. Let me re-add the section. Now green. We're going to go ahead and just select a single column row for our header. This is the top part of our website. So you'll see when I hover over, I've got green. Now I've got blue going around the column. If I were to add another column, let's just go in here and say we were going to add a 2 column here. You'd see when I highlight, there's a blue around the column. You'll see purple highlighted for the element. You'll see blue highlighted for the column and green highlighted for the section. I like to do mine in sections. I'm going to go ahead and delete these, and you'll see all I'm doing is selecting the delete button. Now we've got our first page. What we need to do is add an element. This is where the fun part happens. A lot of these elements, or you might have heard the term word widget, are pre-made elements for you that you can bring into your website. We've got text, a headline, a subheadline, and a paragraph, bullet lists. We've got buttons, we've got forms, we've got our blog connections, we've got media, image slider, video, images, and frequently asked questions. Down here, you'll see some custom code, surveys, calendars, reviews, SVG files, maps. You'll also see there's a countdown, a minute timer, and a day timer. And then down here, you're going to see blocks, a navigation menu, a divider, a progress bar, an image feature, and then your social icons. And when it comes to e-commerce or ordering products or services, this is where your 2-step, 1-step, and order confirmation forms are. You'll see these used more in funnels than you would websites, but if you're creating a website and you're wanting to create a funnel, you can do that as well. The first thing I need to do is add a navigation menu. So if you look, we've already got this ready to go here in blocks. So when I drag and drop the element, you'll see now an orange. This orange is the element. I'm going to click on the element, and notice when I click on the element, the navigation menu comes out. This is how we can create our entire navigation menu. So you see my home, about, contact, you see my business name right here, and then you see a place for the image. So let's go into the navigation menu, and you've got normal spacing. We've got it right here. We've got our home, about, team is in here as well if we wanted to add a team, contact. Then you can see the mobile size font, the desktop font. So on desktop, we might want it to be bigger. On mobile, we might want it to stay smaller. When you come down here, this is our heading font. This is right here. And when you click on that, look how I can easily edit the name of the business. We'll call this demo website. And there's the name of my business. You can also change the color options, the color to the actual color, the bold color, the italic color, the underlining color, the icon color, and any hover text cover. Let's do this as orange to match our orange link cover as well. When they hover over, look how it's turning orange, orange. And then right here, when we scroll down, you could add a hover background color as well. So let's say if we did orange right here, you would see it would now do a block background cover, in which case we'd want to change our font color to white to be able to show. I'm going to leave it as white. We don't need the blocks on this one. You can also change your menu item spaces. So horizontally, you could spread these out or bring them together. I'll spread these out just a little bit. And vertical, if we were going to go vertical, this would go long ways. In this particular case, it's our desktop, so we don't need that. Now we need our brand logo. So we want to select our brand logo from our image library. So I recommend grabbing the logo from your library. Now you'll see how it's scrunched up right here. That's because the width and the height are set. And I always take out the height right here and leave the width. And now you'll see the logo show up. You can also alt text. You want to make sure that you do this so you put your brand's name. Anywhere you see alt text, be sure to fill that out because that's searchable on your website. And then based on the logo here, if they were to click on the brand go? Where would we want to take them? The normal action is to go to the website URL is going to be to go to a page. So once we set up our pages, I'll show you how to do that. But in the meantime, you could put your actual website, demosite.com URL, and you could either open it in a new tab or leave it blank. On the home site and the logo, I recommend putting your home website and leaving it to where it doesn't open a new tab, because most people, when they click on home, don't need to open up a new tab for that. And then what we're going to do now that we've got our first element is now we can go and save. You'll see the little yellow pop up here, and I'm going to go ahead and save it. And now that element is now saved. We can go in next, add different elements as well. We'll go back to the sections. Let's add another section with full length, and then let's add a row, and we'll make this a 2-column row. If this gets in the way, all you've got to do is click on this button and we can hide those settings. Now we want to do something fun in here. I've got a 2-column row, and you'll see right here we've got our green, then we've got our blue, then we've got our purple is highlighting each of the columns. There's a little bitty dot here, so you can make some smaller and some bigger. So if you want this column to be bigger or this one to be smaller, you can drag and drop. You can also arrow up to move this column up and the other one down. And you'll see these setting dial buttons where it shows you the setting of the actual column. So if you wanted this column to be, let's say, have a background color of orange, that would be the background color orange. So you can see we've opened the settings and it's there. If you want to copy it, you can copy that to another column, or you can delete it. So you'll see in each of the elements how you can easily click on the green, go to settings, it'll pop up the settings. I'll show you the save here in just a second. In the columns, you can go to settings, copy, or delete. We're going to go ahead and add another element. Let's add an image here. I'm going to select this. You'll see all the attributes to the image right here. We can center it, align it. Let's go ahead and select an image. We'll just upload one from the media library, and let's upload this awesome burger. I'm going to go ahead and select save again, so my work is saved. You can hide this and I can see how it looks. Now we're starting to get somewhere with a wonderfully designed website. The other thing that you can do here is, if this is your home page right here, this would be the next thing that we'd want to see. I'd probably make this a little bit bigger. It's important to remember when you're designing a website that you keep the first section above the fold to grab all of their attention. I'm going to select the green on the section. If I want to change the padding, I can change the padding here as well. I can add more padding on the top margin if I'd like, or the bottom margin. You can select your padding as well. You can even right here add what's called background media. You can add an image or a video to the background. So if I wanted to put a video moving in the background, by selecting the video, I upload it to my library and putting that in. Let's add another very important element. We'll add a button. We want to make sure that they click to sign up or click to join or click to do anything that we want them to click to do. Let's go ahead and select save, and you'll see it's now orange again. I'm highlighting orange to show you the elements. When I click on the element, the settings button, the settings will show up for the button elements. So here's my button elements. I can now change my general button name or element name, which I recommend calling this sign up button or button. Then you can change the color of your button. We could make this one black. We could make it red. You can make it purple to stand out. Down here, you can have your spacing if you want to have a light mid shadow to your button or a light fade to your button. Do you want the button to be big or small on desktop or mobile? Maybe we make it bigger or smaller. You can select your text font and your subtext font, which we'll get down to the fonts here in just a second. You can change the custom font, a headline font, or content font. You can also select an icon if you'd like the icon to show. It'll put an icon right in front of your button. You can left align, you can center, you can align your button easily by selecting left far right, you can select the color options of what's in your button, meaning the color. We're going to go with white because we have a dark background, and the subtext color. When you scroll down, this is going to be your spacing, how big you want the button, how small you want the button. And down here is where we get to the text options where we talked about text and subtext. You can have a subtext here. And that's where we changed our color subtext here when we talked about the typography. And that's where you would change the color here. And you could select the typography as well. And that's where we talked about setting the color here. That's where you would set the color there. Then down here, what are the actions when they select the button? Are we going to do a pop-up? Are we going to add a website URL? Do we want to show or hide the element, scroll the element, go to a page? We could take this to our Contact Us page. And you'll see when you say go to a page, it'll take you to a previous page on your site. There's other things you can do too. One-click upsell, downsell, call, text, email, or send them to a membership course. If you have membership courses, you would link them to your membership. The most commonly used one is going to be go to a page. When they click the button, what are we taking to? It's going to be a page or it's going to be a pop-up. Let's go ahead and select save. And again, you can get as creative as you want. Now what we want to do is let's go ahead and add another element, and we'll add what we call our footer. Every website should have a header and a footer. I'm going to scroll down and put this new row here. I'm going to put the new section here. Let's add a one column here. So now we've added our section. Now we want to add our row. And now we want to add our element. We're going to put some small text here at the bottom. Now we've got our header here and we've got our footer here. Let's go ahead and change the background color of our footer to orange and then see where it's got the text. This is where we'll go in and we can change our text color. We select the element and we'll go ahead and change our text color to white. Now we've got our header and our footer and our information in between. You can continue to add, which I recommend doing, is sections, rows, and elements. You can add any one of these rows, a 1 column, 2 column, 3 column, or 4 column, to any section you'd like. So in this particular section, I can just drag and drop. The green is the section, and now I just added these 4 elements into this spot, being able to organize these by size and create each one the way I'd like. If I don't like one, I can always delete it. And now I'm back to 3 columns, or I can delete this one and I'm back to 2 columns. Or I can hover over, see how I'm selecting the purple. I want to go ahead and delete these because we don't want to delete the element. And that's how easy it is to design your website, just by adding first a section, second a row, and third an element. Now remember, you're going to want to make sure that you have all of your compliance to the footer of your website, things like privacy pages, terms and conditions. You can also add custom values, so that way you can continue to have your website have current year. You can also add things like your copyright, your business, and other things you might want to add to your footer to make sure that you're completely compliant. You can play with specific elements. I'm going to bring in the social media element, and I want to add this to the footer of my site. And you'll see I just brought in the element. It's again wrapped in orange right here. And look what happens. When I select it, here's all my social media information right here. I can go in and select edit. Put in my Facebook business page, my Instagram page. If I don't want one, let's say I'm not on Twitter, I can delete that. I can even add social media. I can add specific things that I may want. Maybe we're doing a YouTube channel. Then we would add the link, put the link in here. And right here where it says current window or new window, the main thing to remember when you see this is if they select current window, it means they never leave the site. It shows up within the site. If you select new window, it means it opens a new window up inside of their browser. You can select the icon text, you can select the icon type, or you can just put text. You can even change the icon size. We can make these smaller, or we can make them larger. You can also select certain themes. So if you don't want to use the actual brand colors, maybe you want to use this color or this color, this color. You can also select advanced by changing your own color, which we can do to make it an orange color. And we can go to advanced where we could change the theme. If we added the text would be a darker orange. So lots of things to keep an eye out for here. You can get as fun and creative as you'd like. Looks like we're going to be able to add some more sections, so be sure to check out the social icons as this feature begins to grow. And you're definitely going to want to check out all the elements because we'll always be continually adding new elements and widgets to help you have the most successful website there is. The final thing that you want to do once you've completed your website, which would be we need some text. Remember, we got to always add something that has to do with text. You want to make sure that you're having words on your website, at least a minimum of 500 per website. You'll see this brought this down to a low, small text. I can easily, again, select the orange arrow. And when I come down to my text, let's select it. I'm going to make my text size bigger. I try to keep it between 18 and 22. And when I'm using headers, we try to keep that large as well. So let's go ahead and preview this on mobile and see how it looks. If I want my text on mobile to be just a little bit bigger so they can read it on their phone, I put it to an 18. And there we have it, our entire website in mobile and desktop, ready to use. One more thing we need to do after you've added your 500 words, and don't forget you definitely want to add H1 settings. H1s are great for SEO. H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, and 6 are all searchable for on-page SEO. So make sure you use keywords when you're setting in your heading about the subject that you're talking about. Once you're done, now your website is completely done, the homepage is done, and now what we want to do is we want to set up those SEO settings on your page. Let's go ahead and select SEO, and you'll see right here it pops up the SEO. You want to give your page a title, could be burgers. Make sure you have the keyword, your business name, and homepage, a description about your page, any keywords related to your page. And right down here is a very cool feature called social media imaging. If you add an image here and you share this page URL to any social media platform, it's going to pull the image from the page. So you definitely want to add an image every time you add a page, and this is the image that's shared. So we'll go ahead and select this image, and now you're going to see an image. Whenever I share my URL page, this image is going to pop up. You can also add custom meta tags, naming your tags, any links that you may want to add here as well. We'll go ahead and select Update SEO, and now our page is ready to be live for our website, except that we need to go in and create other pages. Before we move on to design these next two pages, I want to show you a really neat feature that we can use to make our design job easier, and that's global sections and section templates. Let's talk about that next.